Good evening and welcome to another episode of LeejudgesTV. I'm your host Dan Potts and I'm with none other than the main man himself, Mr. Lee Judges. Lee, how are you, sir?
Wow, blinding. What a great day. You know, the weather-wise was superb. I played par 3 against West Ham Port today. He was giving me a bit of stick, like, you know, let's say, put it this way, I give him a good stuffing. I told him, I told him what golf was all about today, like, you know what I mean? So, stuff West Ham, lovely.
Can't be a bit warm though, isn't it? It was a bit hot today, I thought.
That's wearing that, yeah. That's wearing it. Now, one of those hats, and I put it back to front, looked like an American, you know what I mean? So it was all right, like that.
Yeah, you can't burn your bonds, mate, can you? You can't burn your bonds. That's got to work.
There's nothing worse than burning your bonds and then getting into the shower. It's your head like that. My God.
I might find out in a few years. I might find out
you
when
might
this
find out in a
decides
few
to
years,
say goodbye to me. It's starting to, so we'll see.
And I'm one of these people. I can't wear a shower cap. You know what I mean? Can't have no shower cap. You know what I mean? You got to go through the pain. No pain, no gain. You know what I mean? So no shower cap for me, like, you know. So definitely.
That's what they say, isn't it?
Not if you know you go to posh hotels and they give you a shower cap. I've never ever wore one.
No.
Why would you? A shower cap. Why would you wear a shower cap?
No. I must admit, I really, I don't know. I don't understand it either. We'll have to start talking about the game tonight because the Euros has had some couple of good games so far, but I thought Turkey versus Wales tonight was the best. The best. What do you make of it, Lee?
I thought it was a fantastic game. I'll tell you what, brilliant game. I have to say, Wales created so many chances in the first half. It was unreal. I was so impressed with Wales today. It was unreal. And unbelievably, they've got a couple of Spurs players in the team as well. One of them was poor today in Ben Davies. But that Rodon looks a very, very Rondon looks a really good player, like, you know. So, and the two main men for them, Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale. I know that Gareth Bale missed a penalty today and was a horrendous penalty. Apparently, they're still looking for the ball, but he was absolutely superb today. Them two were sublime, brilliant performance. And do you know what I'm going to say now? Aaron Ramsey is what Arsenal missed: someone that can break between the lines, gets goals, gets important goals. I thought he was sensational for Wales today. I have to say. I thought he was fantastic, and I thought it was. Do you know what? It was a brilliant game, and of course our friend Turkish will be distraught today because they've got to the I think I thought they was really good in qualifying. They've got to the finals and just been a real letdown, like, you know. So he'll be disappointed along with the Turkish. Crowds and whatever, like, you know. Obviously we know Mims as well, who's a Turkish fan, and he'd be disappointed as well. So Turkey, I wouldn't be having a kebab tonight, I'll be honest. I think I will go for pizza.
Yeah, well, talking of pizzas, Italy are obviously winning as well, and I must admit, looking very tasty in this tournament so far. Really well against Turkey, and then tonight they've looked quite strong. Chiellini, bless him, 37. He's just come off injured in the first half. He scored and was disallowed for VAR for handball, and then he did his hamstring and come off. Not the best of nights for him, but they're winning. Locatelli, a player who's linked with Arsenal actually only last week or a few days ago. Listen, everyone's been linked with Arsenal. We'll come on to that very, very soon. But Italy doing well as well. Moving away from the Euros today, the Premier League fixtures were announced. League judges, first six. Let's look at the first six. Right, we've got Chelsea, Man City, and Tottenham in our first six, but we have got Brentford, Burnley, and Norwich as well. So 3 winnable games, 3 very difficult games. Mikel Arteta, in my opinion, everyone knows I'm not a fan, and I would have got rid of him at the end of the season. He would not be the manager. However, he still is. Does he have longer than those 6 games if we do not pick up a reasonable amount of points, Lee?
Not in my, yes, in my opinion, he does, but it really depends what happens in the transfer window. If we do some madness in what seems like we're looking like we're doing, if we do that, we're going to have a decent enough team next season, like, you know. And then it's all on Arteta. But I'm afraid if we don't buy the players in the summer, then Harry Houdini wouldn't be able to do anything with this lot. So for me, I think it's all about the transfer window. The transfer window will determine how well we do in those first 6 games. It really does. And I think, like, looking at those 6 games, people make me laugh. I've watched on Twitter today. People turn around and say, "Oh, I'm quite happy that we got City and Chelsea first because we've not got a lot of players in the Euros." Well, a couple of seasons ago, we had Chelsea and Man City, and they were saying exactly the same sort of stuff. Oh, it's the beginning of the season, there won't be this and won't be that. We didn't win both games. We ended up with no points. So, and that's how it will stand if we do not buy some players. It's as simple as that. So, hopefully, we will get some players and we can at least give it a good go in those games there. And I can tell you that I watched Brentford in the playoffs and whatever. They're a half decent side. So, going their first game of the season in the Premier League, that ain't going to be easy, I can tell you, And what I'm disappointed about is at this moment in time, and I said this today about the fixtures, I've got no excitement from them at the moment. One, because of Arsenal crap. Two, you don't know if you're about to go to any away games at this moment in time. Who knows what's going to go on? Brentford away is I've never been there. It's a new stadium at Brentford, of course. I would really be loving to go there, but you just don't know what's going to happen. I think, so hopefully things will cook out, because we've got Spurs coming up in that first 6 games as well at home, which, you don't want to be playing Spurs again on an empty stadium. I want to go to the White Hart Lane this time around, so we'll have to see what happens
Yeah, I think the transfer window we'll come on to in a minute, because it is going to be a massive part to what we play in our season. And there'll be no more excuses for me. There'll be no more, COVIDs, no more VAR. We're all used to that now. No more excuses about he hasn't had enough transfer windows. For me, this season's make or break, and I already want the manager out. I still stand by that. I see today Rafa Benitez has gone to Everton, it looks like. That was a manager I would have preferred.
That's a big call, isn't it? Let's just talk about that for a moment. Let's just have a chat about that. Liverpool legend. If obviously
traitor, they're all saying, aren't they?
Everton fans at this moment tuning in, but if you do actually get to watch it and put the comments down what you actually think about that, because I'm really interested. About what's going on there and what's the take from a Liverpool point of view on it, because Rafa Benitez is a legend and what he's done there. Now, we've had a little bit of this with George Graham going to Tottenham after being a manager of Arsenal. And how do Everton fans feel about it as well? Because, got the success that he did with the Champions League with Liverpool. Are they going to forget about that? I'm quite happy with it. Listen, I think he's a very, very good manager, Dan. So I wouldn't be disappointed if he came to the Arsenal. So
would you rather have him than Arteta?
Yes, I would do, because I just feel that we've got a little bit more experience there. But ultimately, I think Rafa Benitez would struggle with our squad as well. But obviously, if he is going to go to Everton, he's obviously going to be promised some sort of funds, and that's very interesting from that point of view. So this is going to be an interesting what's shaping up on the Everton and Liverpool front there, and so we'll have to see what happens there. So be an interesting
put a good one in here, because this is really interesting. Big up Peter as well. Peter was on the show last night. Great to see you back, Peter. How do Everton keep getting these sort of managers? Ronald Koeman, Carlo Ancelotti, and now Rafa Benitez. Massive signing for them. Very underrated manager, which I totally agree with. And he's got a point, Annie Lee, because Everton have been, you can't blame them for their ambition. They've gone for the big managers, haven't they?
Well, it's because they've got ambition to do well. Whether it happens or not, they're going to go for it. And I look at that, and fair play to them. And this see if Arsenal follow suit. Listen, I'm not going to criticise no one at Arsenal at this moment in time, because we've read today that that there has been a legitimate £40 million bid for Ben White. Now, if you look at that, then I think 40 million is about right. I don't see he's worth 50 million, for instance, you know, in this market, but we'll have to wait and see. But again, good old Arsenal doing it, you know, bringing in 50 million pound defenders and 50, 60, 70 million pound wingers when we need midfield players. But we'll be interested to see what happens there. So, you know, it looks like Arsenal are going to be looking to be making some business as well. But I'm looking at it from Everton's point of view at this moment in time. They look like they're going for it again. And, you know, if I was an Evertonian at this moment in time, I'd be a little bit disappointed how it petered out, and obviously with the Ancelotti thing as well. But ultimately, I'll be looking forward to giving it a good go again next season.
Yeah, and I like Everton. I don't know what it is about them. I've always thought they were not just a nice side. They've never really been a huge rival to Arsenal. Well, certainly in my era, they haven't been. And I've always thought very highly of them. And they've got a lot of money with obviously Mashuri and now Usmanov coming over there and giving them a hand as well. So I've got no problem with Everton at all. But let's talk about this man, because you did mention him, Ben White. Now, he has come onto the scene as a £40 million bid rejected. He's come onto the scene at Brighton. He's been a good centre-half. He was at Leeds. And I must say about this lad, I spoke to a lad, and I'll say his name, Chris Ramsey, massive Leeds fan. He did quite a lot of opposition support with myself when I was doing the old team talk shows. And he came on and he said to me, there's two players. This was 3 seasons ago now, Lee. And he said to me, there's 2 players at Leeds that you need to look out for. And I said, I don't watch Leeds. They're in the Championship. I don't watch much Championship football. He said, there's 2 players you need to look out for. Ben White on loan at Brighton and Calvin Phillips. They're going to be 2 absolute legends in the next few years, and they'll be in the England squad. And I thought, well, Leeds have got to get up first, mate. You know, hang on a minute. And he said, no, mark my words. They will both be in the England squad, and they will both be England starters, regulars very, very soon. And my boy, was he right? Calvin Phillips gets man of the match the other day, and Ben White, we've now stuck a £40 million bid in for. So it makes me wonder, Lee, £40 million. Let's get your truthful opinion on it. Is a defender the number one priority, is my first question. And secondly, is that £40 million well spent, or would you rather see that go towards a midfield player?
I'm not going to criticise anything Arsenal do and spend money. If there's 40 million and they've got to spend 40 million, I want to see a 40 million pound central defender in Ben White, no problems. But then I want to see 40, 50 million pound central midfield players coming as well. We need to upgrade the midfield. I think there's no 2 ways about that. But let's look at it with Ben White. I watched a little bit of Leeds because I've got a few of my mates are Leeds fans, and being a Yorkshire fan in the cricket, I have a little soft spot for Leeds over the years as well. Very, very impressed with Ben White, but not because you know, what we're talking about him now, is because when he was in the Championship, he was the best player in the Championship. You know, I mean, it's a tough league. It's a tough league. You know, week in, week out, you've got to produce and perform, and he done that. So I'm a big fan of him. I thought he looked really, really good. Let's face it, Leeds done everything they could to try and get him, and they didn't. Now, he then went away from Leeds back to Brighton and signed a new contract. Now, in that contract, surely there must be something to say, look, if certain something comes along, they will be looking to let you go, because I don't see, if you're a big club like Leeds coming through and looking a really, really good side, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, are they going to be? Then he signs for Brighton. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So I think it will be a good thing for Arsenal to get him. Arsenal need another central defender. They need a couple. Simple as that. You know what I mean? If they've got Saliba in, Ben White, then you've got Gabriel and Murray. That's 4 class central defenders in a time when we not got European football. That'll be a lot of good competition for those places, and that would be a solid defensive back 4 unit of central defenders.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I'm not about tomorrow at 7, I'm afraid, because I shall be strutting my stuff on the football pitch, you know, like I was today. Like, you know, got stuff today, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, we won't talk about that, mate. We won't talk about that.
No, not at all.
But let's talk about this because I totally agree with you, mate. Big up Gooner Glenn. Thanks for joining us, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you on it. Where does this leave William Saliba? Now, this is an interesting one for me, Lee, because obviously we've got Pablo Mari and Gabriel, who look to be our left-sided defenders. We've still got Rob Holding. David Luiz is gone. Looks like Mavropanos is going to be going. Callum Chambers looks to be a backup right back, but can play centre-half. William Saliba is surely the right centre-back. If Ben White does come in, does Saliba then fight for his place with Ben White, or is he going to be a casualty and we're going to end up selling him? Because the rumour is he's off.
Well, then you'd have to look at Mikel Arteta then if that's the case. I still look at it, he's 19 years of age, 19, 20 years of age. I don't think you can say to a 19, 20-year-old, right, come in and take the Premier League by storm. I don't think you can do that now. People have saying about the fella at Leicester, that's a fan farm or whatever his name is, who's done it a little bit like, but ultimately it's a big ask. And but obviously there is a feeling that Arteta doesn't rate Saliba. And if that's the case, if I was William Saliba, I'd just say hang in there. Because, if he doesn't rate you, he doesn't rate Martinelli, this manager. And if he carries on the way he's carrying on, he won't be there that long. And so I'll hold on. So if I was William Saliba, I'd stay at the Arsenal, go on loan for another season. Maybe I think maybe a year on loan in England wouldn't be a bad thing for him. I really don't. I don't think it would be, toughen him up a little bit on the English side, see what he's doing. For me, why not say to Brighton, we'll have Ben White and you can have a year of Saliba on loan or something like that. I don't see it benefit all round. So that's what I would do. But when you're 19,
we give him this, man. We say, have to hold him for a year if you want, because I don't really rate Rob Holding. I don't know about you, Lee. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's an okay defender as a fifth choice, but I don't want to see him in my first team every week.
No, I'm with you on that. If Holding was really rated and all that, he'd be in the Euros now, wouldn't he? But he's not. Ben White is. You know what I mean? Like, he can't get in front of Mings, Stones, Maguire. Like people like that. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because Gareth Southgate don't really know what he's doing, but ultimately, he's not really rated that highly by the international powers of be. So at the end of it, I would look to actually to get some money back from him like that. And my God, if we actually did sell Holding for 8 million, say, we make a profit for the first time in a long while.
Well, I mean, listen, Nimit's come up with a great point here. Why can't we start Saliba and Gabriel? We all want to see it. What's the point in spending 27 million on a player that we never get to see? It's going to be a third season, this will be, without seeing William Saliba. So if we don't want him, this manager, then we are going to have to sell him. But I'm with you, Lee. I'd love to see the guy hang in there and see if he can get some game time. Because from what I'm hearing in St Etienne and Nice in France, he was absolutely outstanding and one of Nice's best players. So that is someone that I do want to see. The other player we've been linked with today, believe it or not, I'm not sure if I'm excited about this, if I like this. I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to ask you, is this guy, Aaron Ramsdale? Now, two questions, Lee. Where does this leave?
No, calamity.
Well, I mean, where does this leave Leno? What's our situation with Matt Ryan? What's our situation with the goalkeeper? And do you want Aaron Ramsdale?
No. I've watched him again. I watched him at Bournemouth, and I watched him. He done well the first sort of season he was at Bournemouth, but towards the end, this last season with Bournemouth, made mistakes. I think he's made a lot of mistakes at Sheffield United, and I don't think Sheffield United would have got relegated if they didn't have if they would have still had a Henderson in goal. There was so many mistakes. The ball come out. He fumbled it and people popped it in and all that. I'd rather have, I think Peter just said it on there. I'd rather have Matt Ryan, there in goal. Arsenal or Sam Johnson at West Brom and all that. Listen, this football club is an absolute joke when it comes to things at this moment in time. If Arsenal Football Club let Leno go this season, someone needs to be sacked for for the goalkeeping shenanigans of the last year. Because if this was on the cards, why did they get rid of Martinez and not him? You know what I mean? And then a year later, he wants to go. Unbelievable decision, if I'll be honest. Unbelievable if this was to be the case. But Ramsdale, no, not for me. Not for me. If you're going to go and replace Leno, you've actually got to replace him with something a lot better. Whenever you replace anybody, if you're going to be successful, you've got to improve on the player you're letting go. Now, when Arsenal got rid of John Lukic many years ago, he was a decent goalkeeper, John Lukic, but they improved on that, And this is John Lukic, by the way, and won the league with Arsenal, but they still decided that they wanted to get David Seaman, so it was an upgrade. Ramsdale is not an upgrade on Leno.
I'm totally with you, mate. And I think if we are going to bring Ramsdale in my opinion, it would be as a backup. But I don't know if he is going to want to come as a backup. I don't know where this leaves Leno. Matt Ryan's a shout for me as a backup goalkeeper. I actually think he's as good as Ramsdale, if not better, albeit Ramsdale's younger. But the other guy is this guy. Onana. What's my name? Onana from Ajax. Can't play till November because of his doping ban, and goes away to the African Cup of Nations in January. So he's got about 3 months of football. So that sounds about an Arsenal signing to me. Very highly rated, modern day goalkeeper, an Edison Allison type, apparently. Highly rated, should be our priority. A lot of people are saying, as a goalkeeper, what do you make of this if it happens, Lee?
Well, he's a good goalkeeper. What I see him at Ajax, he looks a very, very good goalkeeper. But, he can't play till, October, November? And then he's missing for the rest of January because of African nations. So, for me, let's get him signed on. I would listen, put Matt Ryan in goal, promising Matt Ryan goalkeeping time in goal and a chance to prove you're number one, if that's the case, and then you can sign him. But if not, I'm a little bit worried about that. Like, if I'll be honest, maybe sign him, for the future. But I'm not so sure.
Fair play. Goalkeeper and centre back is clearly two positions we are looking at, but we need to look at our midfield. And we've been linked with Jack Grealish, Raheem Sterling, James Maddison, everybody. I don't know what to believe. But one player that apparently is more realistic is this guy, Lokonga. Know very little about this man. Centre midfield, 6 foot, 21 years old, Belgium. A recommendation from Thierry Henry, the legend himself. Apparently, he's just what we need to give us some steel into our midfield. I don't know much about the guy from Anderlecht. Very realistic signing. They're looking just under 20 million, which is probably in our region to buy. Would you be happy with that signing, Lee?
Yeah, I would be happy with that signing if we bought them and another, and Basuma as well. That's what you've got to be looking to do. We need 2 midfield players. If you're going to let Granit Xhaka go, you've already let Ceballos go. So you need two replacements. So one, and you're also, don't forget, letting Guendouzi go and you're letting Traore go. So we need a complete upgrade in midfield. So if we can sign him, then that's fine. But we need more than that. Dan, we need another one of them. So I expect a Basuma sort of signing as well. Then all of a sudden you've got the power of the midfield sorted out, plus the defence. Then you just need to work on a little bit of the attacking side. All of a sudden we've got a decent looking strong midfield again, But don't forget, you can't just say, right, we're going to buy one and that's it. We need depth in that squad as well. When things are not going well or players losing form, and Partey, look at him this season. Missed quite a lot of the season. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But we need to bring in someone else as well.
I totally agree. I don't know enough about him. A lot of people saying he's more box to box. Isn't he a 6? Love to know, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about him. And it's a player that I've not seen play to say he would be a great signing or not. So I'm with Lee. I need serious surgery in our midfield. I mean, if you think about it there, you talk about Ceballos and Xhaka potentially going. I don't know what's happening with El Neni. We don't know what's happening with Maitland-Niles. Is Joe Willock going to go to Newcastle? Are Torreira and Guendouzi going to come back? That's 7 players straight away there. It leaves you nobody apart from Thomas Partey. So, yeah, we do need to really look in there in that midfield area, in my opinion. Before we come on to the forward line, there's a striker we've been linked with today. I just want to talk a little bit about Martin Odegaard and Smith Rowe, Lee, because Martin Odegaard's gone back to Real Madrid. It looks highly unlikely that they're going to give us another loan. They're liking us to buy him. He's going to be quite a lot of money. They're talking today, rumours about Smith Rowe going the other way, and then we can have Odegaard. No chance as far as I'm concerned. But we need something to happen in that position. Today, a bid's been rejected for Smith Rowe from Aston Villa at 25 million. The rumours are Smith Rowe's going to sign a new contract at Arsenal. I'd be pretty gutted if we were to lose Smith Rowe. I don't think he's going to go Aston Villa, don't get me wrong. But that's a player we need to try and sign down, Lee, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And unless you're signing Grealish, and you're putting it in part of the deal with Grealish, then that could well happen. But if he doesn't want to sign his contract, now the thing is, obviously, I think Aston Villa are resigned to losing Grealish wherever he's going to go. I think that's the case. Maybe that they're looking to go in there, So if Jack Grealish is going to go Man City, the worst thing that can happen for us is to let Smith Rowe go the other go there, and we're not going to replace him. I think that. Smith Rowe, they're talking, was it 25 million? See you later. But ultimately, when you're having these conversations, and if Smith Rowe is not prepared to sign a new contract, then we're going to have to looking to sell. It's as simple as that. Or and trying to convince him to sign. I think that once he's, certainly looking to establish himself as a first team player now, I think that he will sign. So I don't know who we're going to get in that final third sort of midfield player that we need. We've got to be looking at getting somebody. I don't know who that'll be, but we need someone in there big time. And if we're not going to get Odegaard, I don't know. After seeing Aaron Ramsey today, I wouldn't mind seeing him back there for a year or so on a loan or on a free transfer. But it'd be typical Arsenal, wouldn't it? We give someone like Juventus in for nothing, and then we buy him back for 20 million. That would be ridiculous. I don't think we can do that, Dan. I think we just can't do that sort of business. So we'll have to.
I think we need to move away from that. I think we need to try and move forward and keep away from the Ramses and Chesney returns. I do want to bring this question up.
A good shout.
Yeah, well, listen, Maddison would. I don't know how realistic that would be money-wise. I think Leicester have to make a lot of money. But my mum brings up a good point. Would you bring back Guendouzi? Because I'm a fan. My mum's a fan. My family are a fan, to be honest, of Guendouzi. I know his attitude has been problematic. I know that he's fallen out with the boss, and it looks unlikely. I think we had a player, really, and I thought that when I first saw him, if someone would have said to me, here's 55 million, I still would have gone, reckon we can get a bit more than that. This kid looks proper special. And then it kind of went wrong for him. Would you take him back? And what do you make of him?
I personally would take him back, but he's not coming back because you don't get on with Arteta. Another young player that Arteta doesn't rate. It's getting a bit worrying, isn't it, when you look at it on Martin. He doesn't rate Martinez, doesn't rate Guendouzi, and he doesn't rate Saliba. Very, very, but he perseveres with Holding, El Neni, and Willian. Interesting.
It is very. I've just got to bring this up because Mike Feinberg, absolutely love Mike Feinberg from the Gunners podcast. He's sent the chat absolutely wild by dropping a name that nobody appreciates in. We should sign Locatelli, okay. Husamawa, okay. Bissouma, Grealish and Ozil. He has to bring one in there, doesn't he? I'll take every single one of those apart from Mesut Ozil, and I think the chat agrees. James Maddison, again.
If we signed him, that would be a fantastic window, wouldn't it? Ain't going to happen.
Can you imagine that? That would be a dream window, wouldn't it? Apart from Ozil.
I'd have a night on the Baconators if we signed all those players, barring Ozil. Yeah,
you know it, mate. You know it. We have been linked with a centre forward. A little bit of a Martinelli link here. Obviously, Edu's worked his magic, or trying to work his magic. 20-year-old Yuri Alberto from Internacional. He scored 17 goals in 49 games. A player that is highly rated over in Brazil and somebody that has done well over at Santos and, of course, at his current club. Not sure what the price is. They're saying like between 10 and 12 million. Not sure if that's realistic or not. Don't know much about him, Lee, but if we got Gabriel Martinelli right and he's is looking as good as him, I'd be pretty excited, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like, you know, I would like to see that, but where does that leave Balogun? Where does that leave all the other strikers? You know, obviously, I think that would mean that someone like Eddie would be on his way, which is the rumours about. Again, I think that Arsenal forward line needs to be jigged about a little bit, like, you know, not upgrade, but freshened up, I think is the word I'm looking for. So we'll have to wait and see on that, like, you know. But yeah, listen, we've had some, you know, if he says half as good as Martinelli or potentially, then this I would be very happy to get him.
Well, Barcelona are interested in him, but hopefully Edu can try and work some magic if he is a top quality player. Somebody's asking about Edouard from Celtic, top player. Yes, he is, but it looks to me like he's probably going to Leicester. And Leicester will need somebody up there. They've only got Jamie Vardy and Iniacho, and I think they're looking to try and upgrade on those. So Jamie Vardy at 35, which will be now, I can see that happening quite a minimal fee from what it's saying, and I'm a huge fan of Edouard. But I also agree with Nimit here about Isaac. We talked about him last night. Lee, the Swedish kid, Isaac from Real Sociedad. I'd be excited about him.
I like the look of him. But they're probably after the other night, so about another 10 teams. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I did like the look of him. But you know, again, I think we're going to have to sell before we even think about getting anybody in that area. But I'm with you on this one. This boy looks good. Quality. I like what he done, you know, with limited service as well. What he sort of done, which I always is a good thing. He made his own service, he made his own presence, you know, didn't rely on other people to do it for him, you know. And I think that's a big thing. People turn around and go, oh, he didn't get no service, he didn't do that. He got the ball, went looking for it and made things happen like that.
I do as well. I'm a big fan from what I've seen on YouTube clips and from what I've seen in the Euros and from what I've seen of his season stats. They look very good for a 21-year-old. Before we move on to fixes and other news, one positive. Let's try and keep it positive because everyone knows I'm not the most positive about the process at Arsenal. However, positive news is Lee. We're being linked with the positions that we need to strengthen. A right back has been mentioned. The left back has been mentioned. Backup wise, a goalkeeping situation. We've talked about centre half, defensive midfield, centre midfield, creative midfield, and centre forward are all positions that I think would be able to be upgraded at the Arsenal. So let's hope that the transfer window is a success, mate.
Yeah, and that's what we got at this moment in time. We just got to hope for it. Like, you know, I'm not going to fret over it, as I said earlier on. Let's see what happens. But I think the one good thing is that we're being linked with these players. I know that probably some of them don't go on, but we are making bids for certain players. So that's very, very good. And we're looking to improve. So, and my God, we need to.
Yeah, well, I think that goes without saying, 100%. Let's concentrate on the fixtures quickly, mate. We'll go to Arsenal's in a minute. Just the Premier League fixtures, the opening day of the season. Just going to read them out. Burnley at home against Brighton. Brentford obviously at home against Arsenal, which will be a good game and nice for Brentford as well, to be honest, to have that as their first kind of fixture to welcome us there. Chelsea at home to Crystal Palace. Everton at home to Southampton. Leicester at home to Wolves. Manchester United Leeds at Old Trafford. That'll be a good derby. Newcastle at home to West Ham. Norwich City welcome Liverpool to their place for their first game. Watford at home to Aston Villa. And of course, we leave the last one, Spurs versus Man City. I did have a bit of a chuckle, Lee, if I'm honest, that Spurs got Man City first game. I don't know why, because everyone's got to play them, but it's just a nasty fixture for them to have first, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's not. You know, they'd be pleased that they're at home in that game there. And could Harry Kane be making his debut against Spurs? You know, this is the thing, like, you know what I mean. So I think if he does go to Manchester City, just say that Harry Kane does go, and that's the agreement. Spurs will could do a nice little trick here and say, yeah, he can come, but he don't play against us, meaning that he plays against everybody else. So Spurs could have a little advantage of playing a Man City side without Harry Kane, you know, because once I think Harry Kane, if he does, and it's a big if, but if he does sign for Man City, you might as well send the trophy. We'll keep it up there. Just put it under lock and key for a few seasons, because I think that Harry Kane will win things with Manchester City, and I think that Manchester City are just that much above everybody at the moment. But once they sign Harry Kane, see you later, everybody.
I totally agree with you, mate. I totally agree with you.
And that's going to be a difficult one. So we'll have to wait and see. But some good fixtures there. I think interesting ones there for me, obviously, is the Manchester United-Leeds game. I think that'll be a very, very good game. I think Leeds, Manchester United have got to come into that game with their heads on, because if they don't, Leeds are capable of beating them. So that'll be a good and intriguing one there. Always like to see the teams that have come up. Obviously, Norwich versus Liverpool will be a good game. Watford Aston Villa will be a good game as well, because Danny Rose is signed for Watford today in a 2-year deal. Do you remember Danny Rose? Probably one of the best left backs in the country.
He was the Roberto Carlos, wasn't he? He was.
Well, I'll tell you what, him and Walker at one stage were outstanding for Spurs as the fullbacks, and both muted to be going to Manchester United and Manchester City. Walker obviously got his move to City. Rose didn't get his move to Manchester United, and since then has sulks, and now has moved to Watford. So I think he'll be kicking himself over what's happened over the last few seasons, Danny Rose, because he's a northern lad, and I know that, and I know this for a fact, that he was wanting to go to Man United, and I think Manchester City were even willing to do the business as well. But whatever happened, I don't know, and things just took a real downturn for him on a free transfer. Could have been a good backup for us, if I'll be honest. Only joking. But he's gone to Watford, and it'd be interesting to see how that game goes, and what's going to happen with Aston Villa this season. Because I think if they keep Grealish, and with the players that they're signing and or trying to sign, they look like they've got a bit of ambition up there in the Midlands. So it'll be interesting. So all in all, I think that some quite intriguing fixtures, and the Brentford one against Arsenal is intriguing as well, because it's a local derby, and of course Brentford coming up as well. And they always say it's a little bit more difficult for the team coming through the playoffs, but we won't have to wait and see that. But so a good first fixture list, some good games to look forward to, and I think the standout one for me is, or the two standout ones for me, is the Manchester United versus Leeds game, and of course the champions versus Tottenham.
Absolutely, 100% agree. We're going to bring up some fixtures of Arsenal, just discuss that. Please get your questions in the chat. More than happy for me and Lee to answer them. Doesn't have to be about Arsenal, about transfers. It can be about anything you want. As long as it's appropriate, we shall answer it. I'm going to bring this up. It's not the biggest, so I do apologise, but I can read it, so that's all that matters. Obviously, the first 6 games, Lee. Yeah, I know. Obviously, on the first 6 games, Lee, we've got Brentford, Chelsea, Man City, Norwich, Burnley, and Tottenham, which we've discussed. Not the easiest of fixtures, but I'm looking at this now, and I'm going to have to read it out to you, obviously, because you can't see it. But for me, January, February there is very, very difficult. On New Year's Day, we've got Manchester City at home. We've got Tottenham away a couple of weeks later. Burnley at home is never easy. Wolves away, which is never easy. And then we've got Chelsea and Liverpool within those 2 months as well. So that's Man City, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Liverpool within that 2-month period. That could be massive for me, because those are huge, huge teams that we've struggled against over the last 5 seasons, that we need to turn those results into wins. So let's hope that we get that right. All I'll say, lastly, before I hand to you, on the 15th of January, we are playing Tottenham away without Aubameyang, Partey, Pepe, El Neni, and any other African player that we sign. That is not good news, Lee Judges.
No, not very good news. I thought the World Cup was on this year as well. Like, when's the World Cup? When is that then?
The World Cup is the end of 2020. It's the winter though, isn't it? It's this Qatar one, isn't it?
So it's the end. No, it's December of next year, then, is it?
Of next year, yeah.
No. So, well, this is the trouble when you sign African players. You're going to have to go in there and that. So those players are not going to be available. I'm pretty sure Spurs might have one or two that are not available as well. We'll just have to see how it goes from there, like, you know. And I didn't know that. So thanks for that lovely bit of I won't sleep.
I know. Well, I thought you might, because WhatsApp. Well, I was on the same WhatsApp group as you when it was put in there, so I thought that. Red Ken, bless him.
I haven't had a look at the WhatsApp group, but listen, I'll tell you something now. Like, I don't know what it is, and we can ask people in the chat and everything like that. People watching, when the fixture list comes up, what do you look for? You know, first of all, I look for obviously like who we're playing on the first game, because it tells you, and then it's always when we've got Spurs, and then I look for the Boxing Day fixtures, what we got on Boxing Day, and then I look for the last game of the season, and then what game we got on in and around my birthday. So,
mate, it's spot on. Every single step of the way there is exactly what I do. I look at the North London Derby games, and then obviously we're playing at the last game, because I like to see if we're at home or away on the last game of the season. And you're right, Boxing Day fixture, and then what one's near my birthday and my dad's birthday and my mum's birthday as well, because obviously we try and go to games together. Absolutely spot on, same as me. So let us know in the chat if you are any different, because
it's really interesting to see what they do. You know, do you look at the Man United games? I don't look for the Man United game. Do you know what? And that is funny. I used to, you know what I mean, when it was up between Arsenal and Man United. I used to have a little look at that, but now I'm not. Well, I noticed that we got Man United again on a midweek game. So that means another trip to Manchester. Well, if you're allowed to go, whatever, it would be a midweek game to go up there. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So obviously no trains back into London that night. So you have to stay up in Manchester, or you have to drive. It's a bit of a nightmare. But our birthday weekend is over the bank holiday of August. So it looks like Manchester City away. So that'd be quite a good one. So. So
birthdays, a lot of people are agreeing. Aaron in the chat says Liverpool away before my birthday. Peter on poll. Peter says I look for the Spurs United Boxing Day, New Year's Day, last game of the season, and my birthday.
I think that's if your birthday's in the football season. If you're a June, July person,
you're not going to get that, are you? You're not going to get that.
It did happen this year, didn't it, for the first time? But if you're a June and July person, you're not.
I suppose it did.
You're not going to get.
Wouldn't.
There you go.
Scunny looks at the away games, because Scunny's up in Scunthorpe, obviously. So he looks at the away games.
You look at every away game first, is that before anything? So what are the away games you look at? Are you looking at the northern-based games first, or what? That's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one, to be honest. Tony's in the chat. Welcome, Tony. Hope you're well, mate. Liverpool at home, day after my birthday. Again, everyone's looking towards a birthday. It's natural, isn't it? You want to have a beer and watch the Arsenal on your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah, and I can tell you this now. On my birthday, Arsenal went to Manchester United. The score was Manchester United 8, Arsenal 2.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that was your birthday, mate. That's awful.
Happy birthday! I was actually out in Spain. I didn't go to the game. I was in Spain, and I got on the old shots that day. And I don't remember too much about it, because that was a hard take. That was.
Yeah, mate. I can.
Not only did it ruined my holiday.
Oh, I can feel your pain. Aaron says, "What a present."
Yeah, it was. Thanks for that. Thanks.
Tony says, "Ouch, Lee. That is not a good. That is not a good day out, is it?"
It was a tough birthday. That was a tough birthday.
I'll tell you what. That was the year. Just going back to that game, because I won't talk about it too much. But that was the year, or the game, should I say, that I was done with Arsene Wenger. That was the day I was done with Arsene Wenger. 2010-11, I got really frustrated with the Birmingham League Cup final. I know it wasn't Wenger's fault. It was a mistake from Koscielny and Szczesny. I was starting to lose my patience, and I thought, I'm really getting frustrated here now. This is starting to frustrate me. Then we went and did the Barcelona where Van Persie kicked the ball away, and I was there for that game at the Nou Camp, and then he got sent off. And then we went out to Blackburn in the FA Cup, and then we lost through the title away that year as well. I thought to myself, I think I'm starting to lose patience with Arsene Wenger. And then he didn't sign anyone, and he went and he embarrassed us at Old Trafford with an awful side that we put out. We had Theo Walcott and Van Persie in it, and that was it. Everyone else was shocking. And I was done with him then, Lee. I thought, it's time for a change now.
Yeah. That was a tough one, that was, you know what I mean? So
Really difficult, mate. Really difficult. Yeah, and this is spot on. This was actually what I was just going to say about it in a minute. Some of them were panic buys. Do you remember we had those panic buys? Andre Santos, even Mertesacker, Biossi Benayoun. They all come in on like the last day, didn't they?
Arteta come in as well.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta did come in that year. Yeah, believe it or not. So yeah, that season for me was done. In terms of the fixtures, just lastly, Lee, we talked about, this period is important. This period we're looking forward to. But ultimately, it's the first 6 games for me that I look at. And we need, in my opinion, from those 6 fixtures to take at least 10 points to have any chance of going on some form of momentum of run. I'm happy to drop points at Man City because they're a very good side. It's difficult to beat Chelsea, and the North London derby, anything can happen. But we need to at least win those other 3 games against Norwich, Brentford, and Burnley, in my opinion. And we need to take points off of one of Chelsea, Man City, or Spurs. Hopefully Spurs, obviously, for Arteta to not be under any pressure. If we start to muck up like we did at the start of last season, I don't know how many Arsenal fans are going to have much patience, in my opinion. What's your take on things?
Yeah, certainly. I think the first six games are going to be massive. That's all we've got in it. I think we've got a League Cup tie in between that as well. So yeah, I think it is absolutely massive. And as I say, as you said before, I'm not going to really get excited about those 6 games until what happens in the summer, in the transfer window, and that is it. And that's how I feel about it all the time, really, Dan. If Arsenal don't make any signings in the summer, then we'll be here next season in the same sort of position with nothing's going to improve. So, we'll end up with those 6 games. Say if the signings are not made that we need, we'll end up with about 5 points, and that's not good enough.
Fair play. Before we start to wrap up, Lee, we did want to give away a bit of a prize to the start of the first few of our videos. A Frederick Cameron Peaky Blinders cap is available.
One like
to
this.
be won. Look at that beauty. But we are giving it away to somebody in the chat. However, there is a question.
It's a tough one.
To answer. And it's a very tough one. So I'm going to hand this question over to you, Lee. What's going to happen is whack it in the chat, and I will select somebody that has got the correct answer at random, and we will arrange
so if you put the correct answer down, we're not going to say, yeah, you've got it. You know what I mean? So you've got to put the correct answer down. And if no one does it, then we'll perhaps open it out. But like the people in the chat have got first chance, shall I say?
First dibs.
Right,
what is the question?
Now, this hat here, it is my hat, but I've got a very, very similar one upstairs ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? But I didn't bring it down with me. So Scunny, keep it quiet. Otherwise, you'll have the hammer on you. Bosh. Right. The question is ready. 4 it is out. In 1990 World Cup, only one Arsenal player went and played in that tournament. Who was it?
Oh, that is a really good, mate. I was only 3 years old.
There you go.
That is going to be very difficult for our kind of era to have. But that is a fantastic question, and one that I think people will struggle with, if I'm honest with you. So there it is. That is the question. We're not going to say who's right and wrong on here live, are we? We're just going to select it.
No, we are not, like, so, at the end of the day, we'll go from there and see what happens from there. Like, yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, we'll leave that open. Lee, it's been a pleasure, mate. I know it's not been long, but it's been a nice short sort of 45 minutes or so to have a chat.
That's what we are, short and sweet. Yes. Your love life right here. But there you go. We won't go into that.
Mate, no, that's too long for my love life, mate. But yeah, mate, it's been a pleasure as always. We will be back as ever. For another couple of shows this week. We're going to try and get on every night if we can and do something. Try and provide regular content for you. We will be doing a preview on Friday for the England-Scotland game to talk a little bit about England's chances in that game. So please join us for that. And tomorrow we'll probably do something a little bit different as well. But we will be up and about on our socials. Please make sure that you do like this video. It is down the banner at the bottom now. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's at LeejudgesTV, capital T, because obviously the @ sign doesn't let us put TV, which is great. But on Instagram, it's at LeejudgesTV. So come follow us if you haven't done so already. There's going to be a lot of stuff promoted on there. Get your answers in the chats as we speak. For the question that Lee's put to have your chance of winning a Frederick Cameron Peaky Blinders cap. And we will select you at random, and hopefully you'll have a chance to win and look like Lee Judges if you really want to look like Lee Judges.
Look like Judges, but I'll tell you what, when you put the hat
like
on,
the judge. Look at that. Look at that. It's like looking at Tommy Shelby, isn't it? It's like looking at Tommy Shelby.
I like the other one though. What's his name?
Rafa.
I like being Rafa. Come on, it's Everett. Come on.
I love Rafa.
Frightening,
absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant program. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Absolute pleasure. Please keep the channel growing. Please keep it going for us. Give it support if you can do, and we will see you very soon. Hopefully, as quick as we can tomorrow. You take care, guys.